You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Ferris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris. Good Monday to you, sir.
Hey, and a lot of people day off today. It's actually a federal holiday.
It is now.
Which is
for
kind
Juneteenth.
Yeah, new thing. First new federal holiday in decades and decades.
Is it?
Huh. Yeah, no, because it falls, I think June 19th is the official day of
Juneteenth, yeah.
Juneteenth,
but that was yesterday.
So yeah, federal employees and I guess banks and whatnot, if you're doing your usual business today, you may want to double check before you head out. So.
Not all banks are closed. I got a message from a bank that we used to bank with. We don't bank there anymore, but said, hey, we're not closed. But if you need something done on a big scale, some banks are, so just be careful. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay.
You may not get mail today.
Yeah. I don't get mail most days, Dan.
It's the ugliest dog day.
The what?
Ugliest dog day.
Oh, okay. Our dog is not ugly, though, so we can't celebrate.
Depends on who's looking at that dog, John.
That is true.
There is, too. It also happens to be American Eagle Day.
Boom.
American Eagle Day.
I love the eagle.
Which, by the way, the American bald eagle has not been on the endangered species list for a while.
That's wonderful.
If you're wondering what they may taste like, well, you just go crazy.
Please don't.
I'm sure in Sioux Falls there's a food truck for that.
Take some of your eagle nuggets.
Lionel Richie is 73 today.
Nice.
Lionel Richie is still, with his entire career, which spans decades and decades, still my all-time favorite thing having anything to do with Lionel Richie. And he wasn't even singing on it. It was back in his days when he was with the Commodores.
Yeah.
Brick House is still one of the finest
That's a
songs
great song.
ever written, ever in the history of ever.
My favorite Lionel Richie thing is the video for the song Hello.
Oh, super creepy.
Good.
It's super creepy.
Super creepy.
It is. But I just love it so much.
But it is. If you are not a Lionel Richie fan, whatever the case may be, if you have some time, dial up Brick House by the Commodores. You'll have no idea Lionel Richie has anything to do with it, but he's in there somewhere. All righty. John Goodman is 70 today.
Okay.
Goodman, of course, he was Dan Connor on the old
Yes,
Roseanne
he was.
series. Been in a whole lot of stuff. Amazing actor.
He has lost a ton of weight.
All around good guy.
Yeah.
He was in what, The Big Lebowski? He's been in some pretty,
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool
He's
stuff
been in
over
some
the
great
years.
films.
And actually, holy cow, what a career here. Was married to Tom Cruise. Was now married to Keith Urban. Ooh, I really like. Nicole Kidman is 55 today.
Okay.
Nice.
Most recently claimed to fame when she was Aquaman's mom.
Really?
Oh.
In the superhero film.
I'm about 9 Marvel movies behind
did not
here.
know.
So.
Well, they just keep cranking them out because
They
apparently
Or is that a
do.
DC? I don't know. Whichever
They
one
make
it is.
money, so.
I probably just made somebody mad because I don't even know if it's Marvel or DC.
Speaking of movies, and this had a huge impact in my life. This day, 1975, America flocks to the theaters to freak out over a little fish story called Jaws.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Jaws.
Awesome film.
Great
Still is an
movie.
awesome film.
Yup.
Holds up well.
I remember watching Jaws 3D as a kid.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was so freaked out by that. I was like, oh, it's so amazing. Now you
Yeah.
watch it, you're like, what?
Awesome
What
film.
was that all about?
And it'll be 5 years later, this day in 1980. Jake and Elwood light up the screen. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd with the Blues Brothers,
Hit it.
which also seemed to hit on some cylinders, became best-selling soundtrack and everything else.
There's some great music in that movie.
And speaking of music, this is a pretty fascinating story. It was this day, 1969. Now, everybody remembers the Summer of Love, 1969, and Woodstock and all that. But
Yeah.
leading up to Woodstock, this very day, a little over 200,000 hippies attended the Newport 69 festival. At that time, the biggest ever concert in California. Jimi Hendrix
Yeah, newcomer.
gets paid $120,000.
Yeah.
This was in 69.
And he was fairly new at the time, wasn't he?
Huge money.
Yeah.
Yeah, $120,000. It would be just a month or two later when Woodstock did hit.
Yeah.
And they hit almost 500,000 people for that debacle.
And the thing that's
yeah.
funny, you talk to anybody from that era, everybody was there. I've talked to so many people who say they were there, and then you find out a lot of them weren't really there. It's like there would have been 9 billion people there if they were all really there.
It was, because you see the films, you know the history and all this and that, and it was really just a huge disaster.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just a debacle.
But it's been romanticized so much, Dan.
And the music was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Got to give them that. So
now they're selling the stage in like little chunks. You can buy a chunk of the stage from Woodstock.
Jeez.
But when they were done, they tore it apart and used it as like scrap wood to fix fences and stuff.
it just turned into a big landfill, basically.
Yeah.
Max Yasgar's farm. Max is sitting there going, what just happened? I was doing soybeans a day ago. What the hell?
I thought you were going to invite a few friends over. What happened?
Yeah. Pretty weird. Rock and roll, man. And it's a story that just keeps on giving. Well, Absolutely. There you go. I know, you know, we all know. We just bounce ahead here.
Going to do that. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris.
Whoa, what's going on here?
It's your Mintervention, sweetie.
My what?
I'm with Mint Mobile. Your family and friends are concerned about your expensive wireless plan.
I don't even have Mint Mobile.
And we want to fix that. Right now, you're paying too much. With Mint Mobile, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month.
Really?
Yeah. Get nationwide coverage for less. Plans start at just $15 a month.
Learn more now at Mintervention.com. Coverage not available in all areas. New activation and a 3-month plan required. Additional restrictions may apply. See terms at Mintervention.com. Time now for a bright spot of news, and we have Brent Baker joining us again. How you doing, sir?
I am very well today.
Brent Baker is a realtor with Clients First Group, Keller Williams, and Sioux Falls. How long have you been a realtor?
14 years.
He's our realtor, our personal realtor, and we love working with you. You do a darn good job. Today we're going to talk about myths. You get to bust some myths. So there are people right now in the housing market where there's all kinds of people who think all kinds of things, but we're talking to Brent because he actually knows these things. So here's a seller myth number 1. No seller preparation is needed. So if it's time to sell a house, I just call you and say, put a sign in the yard. That's not quite right, is it?
No. When the market is really strong in favoring the seller, that seems to be a common misconception. Here's the reality of it. 1, your house has to pass appraisal, so if you have a lot of deferred maintenance, you're going to have a problem anyway. But secondly, if you're expecting a premium, the buyer is also expecting it to be in premium condition.
Yeah.
They're still going to judge your house based on how dated it is, how much wear and tear. A well-maintained home is always going to be the first pick. Those that are well-maintained, up to date, nice, neat yards, good siding and gutters and all of that, which doesn't sound sexy, but the reality is people are looking for that. Yeah. And there are fewer people with skills than there were when I was a kid. Back then, everybody did their home maintenance. Now, people just don't have those skills, and so they really rely on the services of others that come at a cost.
A seller myth number 2. There's no such thing as a crazy asking price. Oh, I disagree with that, and I bet you do too, don't you?
Certainly do. The idea is that we throw a number on it and they can write an offer or somebody will pay it. Doesn't really hold much water. People start their search online, and when they look at those pictures and they read the information, they still have to feel like there's a sense of value there, that, this house at this price, I'm interested. But if they look at it and you go, geez, seems really high, they're not going to take the time to come look. And if they don't take the time to come and look, you're not going to get the offer. You have to get them in the door. They have to be impressed by what they see online and in person.
So another myth on here, buyers must waive contingencies. That's not always the case, is it?
No, and nor should they. We all get wrapped up in emotions from time to time, and we're looking for an edge. But in some people's cases, to bypass an inspection is probably not a big deal if this person is highly skilled in the trades area of home construction. They may feel very confident of it. Or if it's a home that's always been well maintained, you walk in and you can just feel that the home has been lovingly cared for.
Yeah.
That's a different thing, where if you're a rookie, it's your first home, you didn't grow up working on the house with your parents, then you should stick with doing an inspection.
Yeah.
And there's other contingencies, but that's always the big one that comes up.
Here's another myth, and this is probably more for the buyers rather than the sellers, but the myth is, I'll wait till the prices come down. Because if you're selling, you don't want to wait till prices come down. You want to sell right away and hope that they go up. But there's not necessarily any guarantee that prices are coming down, is there?
Well, I've heard people say, well, I'll wait till they back up a little bit or till the market crashes. Well, what if the market doesn't crash? And what's a crash in that person's eyes versus somebody else? And if in the meantime you're in a circumstance that is not conducive to your life, then why would you do that? Because we don't know when the change is going to happen. When housing values go down, that turns very quickly. But to what extent? Will that be 2% for our region, while it might be a higher percentage for another part of the country. Nobody can outguess the market. No. And the market is the mass. Not
and you can guess, but it's just a guess.
It's a guess, and we all know how guessing games go.
Yeah, it doesn't always work. So another buyer myth, you can't negotiate on an overpriced property. But you can, can't you?
You certainly can.
Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you can negotiate.
This would go back to that you can put a price tag on it and somebody will pay it. Some people are just, let's throw a high number out there, and if somebody's crazy enough to pay it, bonus. At some point, sellers get smarter. Time is the greatest educator of all for both buyers and sellers. Greed gets expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Because as you sit on the market, people start to ask, what's wrong with that house? Even though physically it might be fine, the price just isn't a fair representation of that. Occasionally, we're going to find a seller that chooses not to lower their price, but they're open to an offer. And unless you swing that bat, you won't get a hit.
Yeah.
Just write the offer. But write a reasonable offer.
Yeah.
Lowballing just ticks people off.
Yeah. So our final buyer myth on the list here, it's better to buy an off-market property. So that's probably not necessarily true either, is it?
It's a nice concept when it works. And I know right now when housing has been really strong, they're looking for that. However, sellers are looking for maximum dollars.
Yeah.
When you find an off-market property, it's probably a case of where the house has some challenges.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been neglected and needs work, and so they just know that the open market, it won't meet certain standards. And it could be, and I've had these people that don't want a lot of people going through the house. They just go, if I can just have 3-4 showings and, I'm happy with a little bit less. But you really need an educated realtor to know what you're looking at and walk you through that process. And they are hard to find.
Well, I know an educated realtor. His name is Brent Baker, and that's who I have in the studio right now.
Thank you.
If somebody listening is going, you know what? I'm in the market to buy, I'm in the market to sell, or maybe they know somebody in the market to buy or sell, and they're going, this guy talking sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He does, by the way. We love working with Brent. How do they get a hold of you, sir?
605-310-0297 or brentbaker@kw.com.
All right. You can also find him online and see current listings at clientsfirstgroup.com.
Join us in October for The Sands, a week of music and fun that's been described as the best week ever by many of our guests. This year, we have more icons and more fun. Culture Club, The Cult, Loverboy, Belinda Carlisle, Lou Gramm, Vanilla Ice, Samantha Fox, Firehouse, and many more. Plan to join us October 25th through the 30th at Planet Hollywood Beach Resort in Cancun, Mexico. This all-inclusive event will be the time of your life. Learn more now at radiotravelgroup.com.
And now stuff Dan finds interesting.
It is time for Stuff Dan Finds Interesting. Dan, what do you find interesting on this Monday?
Behind the scenes, working a little busy beavers here, and John, young John over here, Heidi, who we're looking at, who we're familiar with.
Yes.
He's the busiest man in show business.
He really is.
Crazy. What
really
goes
is.
I don't know about any of that.
And I wanted to prime the pump here because we're coming up on year number 3 now. Since John spearheaded and decided that Sunny Radio should take over the Sioux Falls fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
And the plans are being set. And we're going to go again, Independence Day, 4th of July, W.H. Lyons Fairgrounds. Coming up, yes, things are getting set, and it's going to be quite the spectacular show.
That one of my favorite memories. My wife and I have been married, 22, almost 23 years.
Yes.
One of my favorite. I have the weirdest fond memories, but one of my favorite memories was when I announced that we're taking that over, and she goes, "How much is that going to cost?" And I go, "It's just $20,000." And the look on her face.
Oh, I happened to be sitting here at that moment.
Oh, yes.
I thought she was going to punch me, and I said, "No, we'll get sponsors."
I almost punched you.
Yeah, thank God we did get sponsors, and we've got some amazing sponsors. And we honestly, and I was on, I don't know which one of the TV news people did an interview last year, and I explained to them, with all of the resources I have personally, if we were putting on this event, we would have like me and a couple of sparklers and maybe a bottle rocket or something. So it's not anything that I'm doing. It's all the sponsors and all the other folks that are helping make this event happen. You can see the updated schedule at SiouxFallsFireworks.org. And a huge thank you to the folks that stepped up, the big main sponsors that stepped up. Market Beat in Sioux Falls and Car Swap in Sioux Falls are helping pay for the fireworks. And Grand Falls Casino has been a part. You know what, Dan? They're the ones that roped us into being a part of this. Did you know that?
I did, John. I work here.
Yeah, well, that's before you were even involved around here. They had reached out and said, hey, can you help us? And you can actually help with the partnership we have with Grand Falls. You can go out there right now and make a contribution at the Resort Club. Yeah, we should. Hey, what do you guys think? Dan? Want to go out?
Team building exercise.
You make a donation of $10 at the Resort Club. They'll put a $10 credit on your Resort Club card. All of those dollars they get put into that box come to the Sioux Falls fireworks, which are coming up on the 4th of July at the WH Line Fairgrounds. And another group that's been a big supporter for a long, long time, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, they are now going to be the sponsor of the stage. So the entertainment, all the things that happen there, it'll be on the IBEW stage. So a big thank you to the folks at International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and everybody who's a part of this.
Yeah, the entire day. Gates open at 7 o'clock, showtime, go time 10 o'clock for the fireworks, and lots of great stuff for the kids and the whole family going on.
We've got Phil Baker, we've got Mr. Twister, we've got inflatables for the kids, a flyover, poet, ethanol-powered Vanguard flower. And yeah, just a ton of fun stuff. So did you need to know any more, Dan? We didn't prepare for this.
I didn't sign on for most of what just happened, quite frankly. I was just going to promote the event a little bit, and away we go.
All right, there we go. I'll be quiet now. And again, you can learn more, since I didn't say everything, at SiouxFallsFireworks.org. Did you have something else, Dan?
Oh, I am so overwhelmed right now. My brain's going to blow up, John.
All right. Was there something else or no?
No. Oh, happy Juneteenth.
All right. Well, I kind of took it away. I didn't mean to. Hey, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour with Dan Ferris.
What can I say that I haven't already said about BetterCreditCards.com? It's a website. You go there to get a better credit card. Okay, that's really probably all I need to say for most of you, but I still have time left, so how about this? At BetterCreditCards.com, we have different kinds of credit cards, some with better points and perks, some designed to help you build your credit. Whatever stage of life you happen to be in, we want to help. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, June 20th, 2022. Equities broke out of a downtrending channel to the downside last week in evidence of mounting fear about the economy. The FOMC was forced to hike rates by 75 basis points in what some would call a surprise move. Others, however, would say the FOMC is still behind the curve, and at least one more, if not two more, 75 basis point hikes were needed. Regardless of the pace, the takeaway for the market is that inflation is still out of control, and aggressive rate hikes are making the cost of business more expensive. In this scenario, economic activity can be expected to contract, and there is evidence of that already. The index of leading indicators fell for the second month by 0.4%, suggesting an economic recession is already in play. This week will be a hurdle for the market because of how little new information is set to be released. On the economic front, there are only 2 data points due out, and both are from the housing sector. On the earnings front, there are only a handful of confirmed reports, and very few from companies other than home builders. You can get the inside track at MarketBeatMinute.com.